What now? Maybe your question. I want you to keep going. Our topic for today on Quick Start Your Success. Here we are, end of apprenticeship coaching. You've made a lot of progress, and depending on how much effort you put in is how much effort and performance you got out. But it's time for us to start stretching out our times between our coaching periods. And so I want us to keep certain things in mind. You're going to experience stress, and not just the stress of learning a new habit. There's going to be the stress of maybe a new team member, or the loss of a team member, or somebody out sick, or it's August and everybody wants to have braces put on. Who knows what the stress is, but it's going to come. So let's talk about what stress does to our performance and how to take measures to reduce its impact. Here's the thing. Consistency is going to be key through all of this. I want you to keep coaching. Yes, we will be spreading our time out into a maintenance level, but you've got to keep going because we constantly feel that pull back to our old habits, or we tend to forget the sharpness and the focus of it, and we need to be reminded. So I want you to make sure you keep coaching. Secondly, I want you to keep reviewing. Go back, review the clips that we've done, review your notes, review the lessons. Here's a strategy. Take one of our lessons per week and go back and reread it. You'll take 6 weeks to go through and start all over again. What you will find is each time you go through, something else will stand out to you. It's a way to keep sharp, so keep at it. Remember, athletes keep coaching. They don't give up a coach. They keep going and they keep going because there's always room for growth and refinement. Now I want to talk about stress and performance by using what is called the inverted U model, or the Yerkes-Dodson law. Here's a picture of it. What you're going to see is that upside down U. It means when performance is low, when we are bored, it will then peak at an optimal stress level, and then it goes back down again if the stress is too high. Here's what we need to know is we need to maintain a certain amount of stress to get that peak performance. Because if it's too low, we're going to be bored and we're looking for something else to do. But again, if it's too high, we fritz out. You may have felt that way sometimes when we were learning a new skill. So this law is a very important one for us to keep in mind, that as the stress or the pressure moves to the right, we have to be careful not to fall out of the area of best performance. Here's something that will help us with that though. So we want to shift that inverted U curve. Here is what happens. I want you to remember this. We do not rise to the occasion. We fall back on our training, which is why we did these drills and skills and drills and skills, and I had you do it over and over again. What is that doing for you? It's taking that blue inverted U curve that you see, and it is moving it to that orangey level. It shifts it to the right. What that means is you can tolerate more stress or more anxiety before the performance falls off. And that's a good thing. That's how we fall back on our training and still hold to a high performance level. In contrast, the other way, what happens is if something is really, really hard to you, or it's new to you, like when we were learning a new habit, it's as if the curve shifts to the red position, which is further to the left. And it takes less stress to knock you off your game. That's why we were very careful to only add 2 or 3 things at a time each time we were actually together. So what is survival mode? Survival mode is when it is so stressful that we are barely keeping our head above water. So what does it do to performance? Well, it depends on where you started. Let me show you a little ringed model here. If in the middle is where we started and we were simply getting it done, what's your name, what's your date of birth, yes, here's your appointment, yeah, see you later, bye, okay. We took the time to increase our performance to using thank yous and pleases. And then we kept working on it to really have that incredible performance where we have our first and last responses, our open-ended questions, a fully engaged way of connecting with our audience. So when stress comes, if we're out here at level 3, we may shrink to level 2. But what we hope to do is make sure we take it right back out to level 3 once the stress subsides. But if we're only at level 2 and the stress comes, we may shrink down to, all right, name, date of birth. Well, imagine what happens if you're already at level 1 and stress comes. Whoa, you could be downright rude. So we are increasing your performance so that when there is shrinkage, it is still amazing service. So I want you to train to this mastery level and be aware of what happens to the stress and the performance. Keep taking it back out once the stress passes. So what are some things we can actually measure? Called KPIs, Key Performance Indicators. It can be tough to measure things when we're talking about the customer experience, but here are a few suggestions. You could look at the percent of calls that are greater than 10 minutes. If you are handling your callers in an efficient manner, there should be only about 2 to 3% of your calls over 10 minutes in length. What about your new patient no-show rates? I would separate those out in various ways, and you can find that on one of my blog posts. And then you may be seeing how many times do we ask for everyone involved to be attending the consultation, and then how many do we actually get in. It's a different thing to measure. Our software systems don't make this easy, but it may be something you want to look at for a month at a time. All these things are so important. I want you to keep going, keep looking, and keep measuring. And I thank you for being with me time after time. And we'll be back in touch. We got to keep going on our maintenance coaching. So, till next time, I'm Amy Demas, and I want you to continue communicating excellence.